working on issues related to women, peace and security for the past decade. And I have also specifically worked on conflict-related sexual violence, which I'm going to be talking of today. Apart from doctoral work pertaining to conflict-related sexual violence, I've also worked with victim survivors who have been affected by conflict-related sexual violence in Sri Lanka. So, based on my experiences and the narrations that have been listening to, there are four reasons why I want to talk of conflict-related sexual violence. One is that there is a lacuna in terms of the law in how we recognize conflict-related sexual violence. Secondly, there is an issue as to why we need to recognize conflict-related sexual violence as a separate issue that transcends the normal parameters of gender-based violence. And thirdly, I think it's really important for us to also look at the contextual realities in which conflict-related sexual violence arises, thereby making it an aggravated form of gender-based violence. And finally, and very, very importantly, in the transitional justice context that we are facing right now, it's important for us to understand why it is necessary to have reparations and other remedial mechanisms that can do something to better the situations of the victim survivors who have faced conflict-related sexual violence. So firstly, from a legal perspective, even in terms of international law, recognition of conflict-related sexual violence happens only at a very late stage. For instance, even though there was a lot of conflict-related sexual violence associated with the Second World War, it does not get recognized as such for a very long time, not even in the Geneva Conventions. And when it does get recognized finally, it is always attached to the dignity of a woman, thereby also creating a path through the law to have stigmatization subsequently, which is a major problem. I think this problem is there in Sri Lanka as well because we don't have any direct laws on conflict-related sexual violence. We have some general laws pertaining to sexual violence, which is a good starting point. However, the necessity to recognize conflict-related sexual violence separately through law has not happened so far. So why do we need to recognize this as an offense that goes beyond gender-based violence? There is anyway some form of stigma that is associated with someone being subject to sexual violence. It's a social stigma. Even though it should not be there, it is there, and that needs to be recognized. And this stigma manifests at a higher rate when someone has been affected by conflict-related sexual violence, because there is the understanding that there are different races, different ethnicities, different religious perspectives through which these victims have been affected. And then there is always an added traumatization when there is conflict-related sexual violence. And often people don't want to access justice because there is the fear that they will be further persecuted, and this is something that affects women more particularly. And the other issue that we have is when we talk of conflict-related sexual violence, we tend to think that it can happen only in the context of an armed conflict. But it doesn't have to be like that. In the context of an insurgency, in the context of an armed conflict, even in the context of something like a terrorist attack, like the one that we experienced on the 21st of April, the laws and the processes that come into effect after such issues also can lead to some conflict-related sexual violence. So we also have to get out of this mindset of thinking that sexual violence is rape. It's not. There are so many different stages of what amounts to conflict-related sexual violence. And finally, why do we need to think of reparations? The moment that we hear the word reparations, there is a narrow tunnel vision about what reparations is, and there's the understanding that it's compensation. But we have to understand that reparations mean different things to different women, and victim survivors should be able to ask for reparations the way that they think is important for them. So there could be individual reparations, there could be collective reparations, there could be administrative reparations that someone is looking for, or there could even be judicial reparations. Someone might want a remedial mechanism as a reparation, whereas someone might want medical help, which could be interim, which could be short term, which could be long term. So it takes different forms. And the other factor that we sometimes tend to forget is that some of these victim survivors don't want any of these processes, but would prefer to ask for an apology. So it's important for us to understand conflict-related sexual violence in this broad scale.